Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Welcome to the Friday night live Q&A in LA every Friday 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks for joining me and let's get going. I'm going to double check this. Okay, so I've been consistently forgetting to put that intro on there when I do the live stream. It can be a little annoying sometimes, but it's the way I've got this thing set up. So Juan, thanks for joining me. Naveen, hello. Not a bunch of people lined up before the show, but a couple joining now. Alan, nice to see you. Celtic FC fan from Michigan. Thanks for joining us. I'm trying to remember, I'm a Hoosier, and I know the people from Ohio are called Buckeyes, but I forget what we call people from Michigan. Late for dinner, huh? All right. So some exciting news. The Bitcoin is back up and around the $4,000 level. Hello, Scott. Nice to see you back. I think you popped in last week too, or at least threw up some comments last week. Let's go over to the next interface over here. There we go. This is kind of an interesting story, but let's see. I think the big one is sort of that Bitcoin is up around the 4K mark again. I know it was kind of languishing down in the 32, 33 area a week or two ago, kind of a little bit depressing, and a lot of people, the bottom, I guess you could say, of the crypto winter. But it took a sharp jump up from around 32 to about 36, I think, and that was what we were at last week. And then this week, it's gone up to 4K. And it's been kind of interesting. I think it broke 4K yesterday, and then today it's sort of just kind of hovering up there. Let's take a look at the price chart. Yeah, 39.97.51. So, and for those of you new, the reason we talk about the price of Bitcoin is it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like the pulse of the cryptocurrency market for traders and investors, but also the industry or the ecosystem as a whole, too. It's kind of a litmus test for the entire industry. And then the other coins, if you want to call them coins, some of them are more coin-like than others, but the other cryptocurrencies tend to follow Bitcoin up and down. Now there are some divergences, but as a whole, the coins tend to follow Bitcoin around, the other coins. And I've mentioned on my show many times that I'm waiting for the day when there is a complete disconnect, so that the price of Bitcoin doesn't really affect all the other coins. Like there may be some independents like Ethereum, Litecoin, Stellar, Tron, whatever it might happen to be, that aren't affected at all by the price of Bitcoin. And I would like to see that. But as it stands, the price of Bitcoin is kind of the overall litmus test. So anyway, there we go. Bitcoin is up around 4K. Good. Not horrible. Now, also, I was looking at this article. I had read it earlier, and it touches on a point that a lot of people have brought up, and a lot of Bitcoin bashers talk about, and it's basically the power consumption of Bitcoin, its use of energy, and its fair market value based on how much computing power or real electricity, I guess, if they're figuring that, is required to, say, mine a Bitcoin. And JPMorgan came out with a report, and I didn't read the original report. It may not be, oh, that like linked me to the exact same article. Anyway, so JPMorgan came out with a report stating that the fair value of Bitcoin was $2,400 based on its assessment of how much, kids are having fun tonight, how much it costs miners to mine Bitcoin. And it's the real Bitcoin miners take issue with this report because it's many of its assumptions are wrong, and it's very naive. You know, first of all, there are many different kinds of miners, many ways to get the power that you need to mine, whether it's a lot of Chinese mining farms are built near dams, so they're harnessing electromagnetic power or water-based power. A lot of people mine Bitcoins in their dorm and they're not paying for electricity, so to really set a price on how much it costs is it's not really accurate, and even though you might claim it's an average, the fundamental error that they're making is that the hashing requirements to mine a Bitcoin go up and down based on how many people are mining and the total hash power of the Bitcoin network. So if people start turning off their miners because they're not profitable anymore, then small-time miners will come in to fill the gap. There will always be a demand for Bitcoin, and even if the price of Bitcoin gets really low, it would still make sense for someone to keep mining it because they would, you know, it's like free Bitcoin to a certain extent. So if the big miner shuts down their farm, the total hashing power goes down, the difficulty of mining goes down, and so other miners who may not have been profitable before will turn their mining machines back on again or join a pool or whatever. So it's a misguided report. And then another thing that I've pointed out in this show is there's a lot of bashing on Bitcoin, how it's not economically sound, it's killing the environment, it's using way too much power. But you can compare this to the existing financial system. So if you look at the total power consumption of, say, our current monetary system, with all of the banks and the buildings and the trucks and the security and the people and, you know, all that is, and the printers and the, you know, the mints where we, you know, they print money and coin money and all that stuff. All of that power consumption is about, I don't know, there was an article, but it's about 10 times, maybe not 10, but maybe five times the amount of power that Bitcoin is used. So to bash Bitcoin because it takes up power is also naive. You know, cities need electricity. I was reading an article and the guy says, you know, your sister uses, everybody uses electricity, right? So to bash Bitcoin because it requires electricity is, it's obfuscating, you know, the real, you know, you can't single one enterprise out for using electricity when everything else on Earth uses it as well. How's that? All right, let's go back. I'm going to read the pop out here and greet everyone that's jumped in. Johnny Crypto, good to see you. Danger Dan Golf Pro. Danongo Golf Pro. Rex, your thoughts on JPM Coin? I tend to think Kryptonians will see straight through it, tied to the US dollar. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about it. We talked about it last time, and I think I may have clipped an article related to that. I'm in Chrome here, sorry. Let's see. Price charts. Nope. Pardon me. There we go. Coinbase. Bitcoin. Hands up preview. Miners. Oh, that's JPMorgan. All right. Well, let's just Google it because there have been a lot of talk about Bitcoin. What do we call this thing? JPM Coin. Is it one word? It doesn't matter. JPM Coin.
It's more fun.
These look pretty mainstream, most of these. Oh, well, I would imagine they are. The articles that I read, let's try to get more. Basically, the main thing to take away as far as JPM Coin is to realize that it's not Bitcoin. It's not a competitor to Bitcoin. And it's not actually, it's not available to everyone. And I don't think they've even rolled it out yet. They're just talking about it right now. So, but it's more akin to a stable coin like Tether. Whereas, you know, a stable coin is a cryptocurrency that's pegged to a fiat currency, like the dollar or the Hong Kong dollar or the yuan or whatever it's pegged to. And it's supposed to be close to its value. So if we look at Tether here, you can see that it's right around $1. And when cryptos go up, Tether tends to fall a little bit, but not that much. So it is the kind of, it's a utility type coin that if you're on a trading platform and you've made some profits, you will sell the coin that you made profit on. Well, when you sell the coin is when you make the profit. But let's just say, you know, you had Bitcoin and the price went way up and you sold it, and you didn't want to hang on to it, so you sold it for Tether. And the idea there is that Tether is going to maintain that value in dollars, and then if Bitcoin goes down, you could buy it again on the dip, you know, with your Tether. So it's kind of a place to just park your money or your value while you're trading cryptocurrencies. So it's not really designed to be a full-fledged decentralized cryptocurrency. And then having said that, JPM Coin is more a competitor of XRP than it would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. But it's also private, and it's not decentralized. I'm talking about JPM Coin. Not private, not decentralized, and pegged to the US dollar. So it's really an internal blockchain-based method for transferring large amounts overseas between different branches and between different banks, supposedly, maybe. So that's the idea of it. So a lot of people have bashed it. It's not really a cryptocurrency. Let me see if I can. But the good news for all of us, JPM Coin.
No! Ew!
Now this guy Jason Bloomberg, he writes a lot of Bitcoin bashing articles. So I haven't read this particular article yet, but I'm not going to sit here and read it while we're talking. But I don't really like his stuff. He writes for Forbes, so he's usually anti-crypto. But, you know, the interesting thing is that JPMorgan is using blockchain technology, and that's a good thing. That helps adoption, helps exposure. And then this other article, too, where they talked about... oh, that was a different one. Is that they were pegging it at a value, right? So even though a lot of people, miners, people in the community think that that's way a wrong price, it is a price. You know, and Jamie Dimon last year was saying crypto was a fraud. You know, Warren Buffett says that will go to zero. It's rat poison squared. It's not, you know, worth anything. It's a Ponzi scheme. Well, now they're telling us that it's worth $2,400. So they've changed their tune a bit. All right, guys, let's see what else. I was the pro at the golf club here from 2010 to 2015. Ah, Da Nang in Vietnam. Got it. Okay. Sailor to life. Good night. I do. Hi, CryptoDad. I have a question. What can I do to fix the issue? My Ledger Nano was fine, but now it doesn't synchronize apparently. Bought Bitcoin and get the right amount of Bitcoins, but not in US dollar. Well, some things to keep in mind. First of all, you know, your private keys are fine. So you can uninstall apps off the Ledger. You can uninstall the Ledger Live software on your computer. There's a lot of troubleshooting things you can do to kind of reset things if they're screwed up, if you're not syncing right to the blockchain. And then another thing to keep in mind is that the Ledger Live software doesn't really give you a very good indication of the movement of your portfolio, right? Because it will tell you that your portfolio went up 50% because you moved some coin in there. Well, okay, I get that, you know. If I buy more Bitcoin, the value of my portfolio should go up because now I have more Bitcoin. But I don't really care about that. I would rather just have them tell me the value of my portfolio in dollars and then tell me how much it went up or down based on the movement of the price of the coins to, you know, pegged to dollars. And the Ledger Live doesn't do that. It's sort of, it gives you these weird percentage points up and down when you move crypto in and out, and it's kind of confusing. So it's not the greatest, but like I said, maybe reinstall Ledger Live, uninstall it, reinstall it. If you're not syncing up, check your internet connection. You know, reboot your computer. Always try that. You know, reboot your modem. See that. Make sure you got a good internet connection. You know, make sure your foundations are good. Run speed test in your browser. You can just Google speed test. Make sure that you've got a good internet connection. And then after you've done that, then you can do your other troubleshooting. You know, double check to make sure you've got your machine is stable, you got a good connection, and then you know, after that, then you can maybe reinstall Ledger Live, uninstall, reinstall, and then maybe even delete the Bitcoin app. And then worst case scenario, you can always reset the device itself by entering the PIN incorrectly 3 times. That will set it back to factory. But for God's sake, make sure you still have your 24-word recovery phrase handy, because that would, you know, you would have to do a full restore. But if it's totally whacked and it's not syncing and it's not showing you the correct balance, that'd be something you could try. But like I said, that's a last resort. First, reboot the computer, check your modem, do all that other stuff first. Right? Don't go crazy. Always make sure you've got that 24-word recovery phrase. Let's check a little bit of topics here. I'll get to the Ledger last after we talk about the news. The CEO of Coinbase talking about the Quadriga CX, that's the Canadian cryptocurrency, decentralized cryptocurrency exchange, that the founder passed away and his password went with him, and they cannot access the cold storage wallets. This has kind of been a big story. A lot of people are using it to bash cryptocurrency, telling us that it's not stable, it's not safe, because look what happened, these people lost their money. Well, I think it's a testament to the security and strength of cryptocurrency, because no one can get at that wallet, you know, because no one has the password. So that just shows you how strong cryptocurrency is and how secure it is. So anyway, a lot of people have been speculating that it was all a scam. The guy isn't really dead, that kind of stuff. But the CEO of Coinbase thinks otherwise. Logically, if it were an exit scam, he picked the worst possible time to run an exit scam, right? You want to run an exit scam when the markets are high. You don't want to do it at the bottom of a bear market. Now, he does acknowledge that there may have been some accounting problems, I think. Mismanagement, which is not criminal, it's just like ineptitude. But then when they tried to cover it up, maybe a little bit of criminality and fraud there, but not in that this whole thing was planned to steal people's money. It just looks like, it was a little bit rinky-dink that they only had one guy who had access to the only keys that were able to unlock these cold storage wallets. You would want to have redundancy if you were a little more. I'm sure Coinbase has multiple redundancies if, because they have their cold storage wallets too. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting story. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Samsung has released a new phone, or is going to soon, that has cryptocurrency wallets built in. So that's cool. It can store your cryptocurrency private keys. So that's going to bring a lot of attention to cryptocurrencies in general. And Samsung is really big in Asia. And, Japan is one of the biggest adopters of Bitcoin technology. I believe in Japan, Bitcoin is a legal currency, if I'm not mistaken. They declared it to be a legal tender back in 2017, early 2018. So there's a lot of adoption in Asia, and this phone is probably going to be pretty popular. And it's nice to see more of this in the market, right? Really cool stuff. Miners disagree. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go into the Binance DEX, the testnet of the Binance DEX. But let me just check to see if there's any questions. All right. You just received 4 ZRX, $1 US. Coinbase Earn just sent you 4 ZRX. You transferred currency is available immediately, and you can view transaction in your Coinbase account. I think he's talking to someone else there. Hello, CryptoDad. Where do you see Smartlands going? What price is your opinion? Yes, you can have 2 Ledger Nanos with the same key. You create one. You initialize one. You set up your wallets. You save your 24-word recovery phrase. Then you buy ledger number 2, and instead of setting it up as a new device, you do a restore with the exact same backup phrase as the first one. And then you've got a mirror image. You've got 2 ledgers that have all the same wallets on there. And then you could transfer crypto onto one, and it would show up on the other. It's, they're 2 different devices, but they're using the same private key. There's a master private key on a ledger that is used to generate all of the wallets. So ledgers can share those. Smartlands. Okay. Whoops. Let me just go, we'll check Smartlands real quick. Now, Smartlands is a, let's look at this. I think it's here. well, let's just Google it. Smartlands is a security token like Polymath. They're in the business of generating digital tokens that represent real world items like stocks, bonds, and I think they're yeah, businesses. Let me see. There was, oh, here we go. Real estate, manufacturing, private shares, agriculture. So it's a they're trying to digitize everything, and it was really popular a few months back before we really started bottoming out, but it hasn't really gone away. But the value has kind of gone down a little bit from its highs. So let's take a look on the Stellar X. I'm gonna log in. And okay, we'll go over to my wallet here, and you can see that I have some Smartlands tokens. I've got 82. And notice that Smartland tokens are sub-Stellar, right? So we brought up Stellar earlier. Stellar is a cryptocurrency that has sub-tokens like Ethereum, like Tron, EOS. There are tokens that can live on the Ethereum network, and Smartlands is one of them, right? And I believe, let's go if I can see what it's selling for right now. It's at 26. I think the first time I heard about it, it was it was around 21. But it's difficult to gauge because XLM was higher then. So it's hard to gauge the price when they give it in Stellar, because 26 XLM is worth a lot less than it was when I first saw Smartlands. But Smartlands had been up to like 30 Stellar even when Stellar was high. So it was worth quite a bit. It had quite a good run up when it first started. So whether or not it will ever get back to that, I don't know. It's up today. 84 tokens is worth around 194. So I don't know. I guess that's roughly $2 in US value. So a decent company. I don't know where it's going. I can't really. I would hope that all of these tokens will raise in value when the crypto market recovers from the bear market, right? If Bitcoin is at 4,000 today and then it goes back to 20,000 someday, as it was in 2017, then all of these other coins will probably follow it up to a certain extent, and they'll be worth a lot more. And if there's more interest in the cryptocurrency market, then it will probably bring Smartlands up with it. But that's just a general evaluation. The patch of Ledger Nano. Okay, it's showing the correct balance, but it won't update. What do you mean it won't? It's like a dog that won't go out when you tell it? Okay. I always bring that up because I used to work at a computer store, and somebody called me up and saying my print, it won't let me print. Somebody said my computer won't let me print, and I said, what do you mean it won't let you? Okay. All right, let's launch Ledger Live, because I'm going to do that the Binance DEX thing too. All right, so we can launch Ledger Live independent of our Ledger, right? We don't need to connect the Ledger to launch Ledger Live. All right, and so you can take a look at your portfolio. Okay, now it says there's a new update available. So I don't know if that's what Rob G is talking about, that it won't let him. You know what? I forgot to turn on my light, guys. Let's do that. Oh, why is it up there? Shouldn't be up there. There it is. Let's turn it on. Hey. My Elgato light. I need to put a link to this. Very cool setup that I've got here. See these lights here? That's what I have. So I have the back screen and one light. And of course I already had the webcam. Okay, but I digress, right? Let's go back here. Oh, let's see. We were talking about Ledger Live. Okay, so he's telling me it won't update. Okay, so let's try to update. Now, I don't have the Ledger connected at all, so maybe you should try it that way. And you'll notice, too, that I got that blue bar when I first launched. It told me there was an update. Now, you may be talking about the firmware. I'm not sure. But as far as updating Ledger Live, it seemed to work okay, right? It updated and it tells me there's some new stuff in here. Continue. Enjoy the Ledger Live experience, now available on mobile with the Ledger Nano X, right? I have not received my Ledger Nano X. And if you're interested in the Ledger Nano, I would say maybe just wait for the Ledger Nano X or go ahead and pre-order one. It'll be here next month. I'm sure at some point when the Ledger X comes out that the old Ledger Nano will be cheaper to buy if that's, you know, if you're on a budget. Then, and this is a perfectly good cryptocurrency hardware wallet, right? If you do, but the Ledger Nano X is going to be better, right? Holds more apps and all that other stuff. If you do anything like best cryptocurrency hardware wallet, right? You're always going to see Ledger on the top, right? Ledger Nano S is almost always your top, right? Ledger Nano X, they're saying, is the better now. But so this is nothing to sneeze at, right? But it has its limitations. So we're, you know, we're going to go up to the Ledger Nano X soon. I'll do a video as soon as I get mine. It's on pre-order. Should be here next month, right? So, and if you're interested, follow my link here, and you can go and pick one up. It takes you straight to the Ledger Nano homepage. Doesn't take you to some third-party rinky-dink Ledger Nano. It just takes you straight to their site, and it won't cost you any more than usual to buy one using my affiliate link. But I will get rewarded with a commission. So, okay, we're done with the commercial. So let's go back to Ledger Live. All right, so, okay, it's telling me, all right, Ledger Live can be used on your phone. And I can show you that too. I've got the app on my phone. So it updated for me, but if it didn't update, and for some reason you're trying to figure out how to get it to update, you can go up here to Settings, and then go to About. And then it will tell you what version you're running. And if for whatever reason it didn't come up there on that blue bar, that alert, or you dismissed it, and you can't figure out how to get it to update, you could go to Settings and then go to the version area. And right here, if you're not running the latest version, this button will say Update. So I don't know if that's what your issue is, but that's one way. If maybe you lost the update alert and you're trying to figure out how to just manually do it, go to the gear shift and About, and then you can update from there. All right. Now, if you're talking about the firmware, then that does require us to connect it. So let's go ahead and connect our ledger. So I'll connect my micro USB cable. It comes with one, but you can buy your own if you want one that's long. This one is okay, sufficient, but you might want one that's longer. All right, and I'm just going to plug it in to a USB port on my keyboard here, if I can find it. All right. All right, so the first thing it'll ask you to do is enter your PIN. So we'll do that. Haven't logged into this thing in a bit. Oh, my old friend. All right, so now that I've logged in, I'm at the home screen, right? And I haven't connected it to anything else. So let's go to General here. And I'm trying to see where... Oh, I think you have to go to Manager. When you go to Manager, it's going to probably prompt you to enable Manager, right? So you'll enable Manager or allow it on your device, right? And when you go into Manager, that's where it'll tell you what version of the firmware you're running. Okay, so up here at the top, you see it'll tell me what kind of device it is and what version of the firmware I'm running. As you can see here, I'm running the latest version. So if you can get into Manager, then if you're not running the latest firmware, then it will usually tell you there'll be a link here to run the firmware update. Now, if you're running a really old firmware, sometimes you have to update to, you know, from that really low firmware to somewhere in the middle. And then once you get up to a certain version of the firmware, then it will allow you to run the latest firmware update. That's just a function of how most hardware tech works over time. You can't just jump from a really low level of firmware up to the latest version. So I don't know if that's your issue or not, but those are some tips maybe that'll help you. All right. Okay, Alan Ellis is asking a question about VPN. And yes, it will improve your privacy to a certain extent. There are things that can leak. And then you can do things that could leak your identity while you're on a VPN. You could connect to your Gmail while you're on VPN, and then you know if you sign in using your Gmail to somewhere, then they obviously know it's you. So you just have to be careful once you made that VPN connection. And if you're trying to stay anonymous, then don't log into your Facebook, that kind of stuff. You'll do the things that you want to do in private. Now, you can still log into Facebook and all the other stuff while you're using your VPN, and it still improves your privacy. But it doesn't give you total anonymity. And then, of course, you would use Tor if you want total anonymity. But your question is, will I be able to log into my cryptocurrency exchange accounts? And the answer is usually yes. All right, but they will immediately know when you use, let's say you install a VPN and then you try to log in to your Binance account. It will immediately recognize that you're coming from a different IP address, and it will ask you some will make you go through some verification steps. So it's going to verify your account. Now, you may have set up the account with an email address that you're not associated with, so nobody really knows it's you, and you know you've managed to do that, and then you've logged in with an IP from a VPN, so you look like you're a newcomer basically. So they'll ask you to verify the email. They'll send you an email on the email that you set up on your account, and then they'll let you in. And then if you've got the two-factor authentication, you'll still need to go through that as well. So, but some sites, when they see you logging in from a VPN or from Tor, any kind of you know, software that's trying to, you know, mask your identity or your location, some websites will reject you. I think Poloniex used to do that. I don't know if they still do it, but you couldn't even get logged in. You know, it would just, or no, not Paxful. That's the one I'm thinking of. Paxful website would just reject you if you tried to log in with the Tor browser. They have, because they think you're a hacker. Right? It's security. But it can be a little complicated when you're trying to be anonymous and access your cryptocurrency accounts. It's possible, but it might be difficult. All right, so I wanted to check out this Binance DEX, DEX, pardon me, DEX, which stands for Decentralized Exchange. Now, it's on Testnet right now. So we've got this thing up and rolling, but we need to get it, we need to get the Binance DEX app on here. All right, so we need to go to General, and we need to turn on Developer Mode. So let's do that. I'll get rid of the clutter here. Let's see. I guess we got to do this, right? Oh, settings, pardon me. I guess I could have done that in Manager too. All right, so we need to go to Settings, and we need to go down here, and we need to enable Developer Mode, right? And now that we've done that, we're supposed to be able to, after that, we should be able to go into the manager, I believe. Okay, so we got that. Make sure you're running the latest firmware. We know we're doing that. Whoops. The latest firmware. We know we're on the latest firmware, right? We checked that earlier too. We're on 1.5.5. So they're telling us, okay, you're on 1.5.5. Then you'll be able to download and install Binance Chain application through Ledger Live Manager tab. All right, so let's go to Manager. Binance Coin, right? Why isn't it? Oh, because they order the cryptocurrencies by market cap. So you're going to see the top ones at the top: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, EOS. All right, so we'll search for it. All right, so there's the Binance Chain. All right, so we need to install this app on our ledger. So I'm going to hit that, and let's hope that there's some room on here. There was some controversy when the latest firmware came out that it did take up more space than usual and would not allow you to install as many apps as you could before. They're supposedly fixing that issue. All right, so we can't install it, so let's take some stuff off. Let's see what I got on here. I've got Stellar, Tron, and Litecoin. I'll take the Litecoin off. Of course, I have Bitcoin too. So let's try uninstalling Litecoin first. I know that's a little bit large. So we'll get that off and then try Binance Chain. I guess they don't have Binance Coin on here. I don't see processing. Usually you see processing on the device. All right, so let's take something else off. We might just have to take everything off. So I'm going to take Tron and Stellar off. So this is one of the limitations of the Ledger Nano S, is that you have to remove apps in order to put new ones on. Sometimes you have to shuffle apps. But we've all done this kind of thing before. I used to have a 45 megabyte hard drive, you know, and then when I installed the Borland developer suite, I had to take all my games off before I could install it, you know, and then after I used it a little while, I would uninstall it and put my games and other stuff back on. So we all know how to manage space. It's like, here we go. Let's try it again. one more time, and then I'll take the others, the Stellar, off if I must. It'll be weird if I have to take off everything. Oh, here it goes. Okay, so it says processing now. Whoops. All right, so it should get on there. All right, so now we got it on. Now, the next step in our little adventure is to go to their website, right? Make sure your device is unlocked and you have Binance Chain application open. You'll have unlocked your BNB wallet and will be granted access to the Binance DEX Testnet to get more information, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're going to go to Binance Chain. Got it on there? There we go. All right, so that's our Binance Chain. All right, we're going to hit both buttons. All right, it says it's ready. All right, so let's take a spin. Now, remember, this is just a test net. So we don't want to put any real Binance coin in here. But this is similar to what we're going to see. So I'm going to take, I'll put it on my crypto exchanges. Let's create a wallet. I think that's what we want to do. Blah, 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 blah. Now, for those of you who don't know, or have never used a decentralized exchange, he won't stop singing. A decentralized exchange means that you're holding your own wallet, right? You're not putting anything on the exchange. All of the private keys remain on your wallet. So it's not like in custody. They don't have custody. You don't fund an exchange like this like you do a centralized exchange. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We asked for a minute of your time to understand how decentralized wallets work, right? So you're not moving money onto the Binance server, right? All of your money will stay on your own hardware wallet, your private key. Skip tutorial not recommended. You are solely responsible for keeping your funds. Now, of course, I've done this before. There's Delta X, which is an Ethereum decentralized. Stellar Port is decentralized. We've used that one before. So I know what I'm doing. But if you've never done it before, you might want to just double check everything as you're going along here. Okay, there's 3 different formats. And usually the format would be, one, you can create a private key and store it on your computer or write it down. The other might be like a web-based type wallet. And then your other choice would be like a hardware wallet like this. But we'll see. All right? So we can do a key store plus password, which is a file that you save on your computer, the key store file, and then you create a password that you and only you know, and if you lose it, you're screwed, right? So this is serious business. I'm not going to do it like that. I'm going to use this, the mnemonic phrase, which is a 24-word recovery phrase, which is exactly what we use when we set up the ledger. But this would be a standalone 24-word recovery phrase that you would write down, maybe store it on an encrypted flash drive or whatever, and cut and paste it into this whenever you log in. Or you could put it on a piece of paper and type it in manually every time, if that's what you're into. Okay, but I'm not. I'm too lazy to do all that. All right, so that's another way to do it. And then the other one is a private key. This is an alternative representation of the mnemonic phrase words, where Binance requires all users to use the key store file password and choose between the mnemonic phrase or private key. Oh, okay. So it could be a key store password or a key store mnemonic phrase, or private key is secondary method. Ugh, I understand. Okay. All right. La 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 la. Okay, so they want me to set up a password. All right, I will go ahead and do that. And guys, please remember your passwords when you do these kind of things. Don't be flippant about it. Maybe write it down. All right, so let's hit that. Unlock an existing wallet. I'm wondering how I would use my ledger. But anyway, I'll go ahead and walk through this. They're going to give me a key store file. We'll just drop it on our desktop. Family. All right, so let's hit that. All right, and then we'll continue. All right, and they're going to give me this word, which you should write down. I'm going to be flippant about it and just put it in a text file. I don't think this is the way that I would do a ledger, though. But, you know, whatever. All right, so let's call this the Binance key store. And don't just leave it on your desktop like I'm doing. That would be dumb. You know, you got visiting relatives and they're going to see what you're doing. All right, so I'm just going to hit this. Yes, I wrote it down. Now I can unlock the wallet, right? Now, here we are. Now, I could unlock that wallet that I just created if I want to, but I don't really want to use it like that. I would rather use the Ledger device that I have all set up and ready to go. So let's hit Ledger. Now, I wish they could have just taken me straight to the Ledger. Maybe that link that I had before where it said open existing wallet would have worked, but let's hit Ledger, right? And they told me to open the PIN or open the device and enter my PIN and enter the Binance chain, which we've done. We're ready for that, right? And then we'll hit connect to Ledger. So they sort of forced me to create that secondary wallet using creating a password and using that mnemonic phrase and the key store file. But I don't think I really needed to go through all that. I may have just been able to say start wallet or whatever. Maybe I'll try it again. But here we are. And remember, this is only testnet. So let's take a look here. We could change wallet, create new wallet, export wallet, and then there's a public address here, which is the public address of the Binance chain wallet, right? So when I installed the Binance chain app on this ledger, I created a private key for that wallet. Now I could take the Binance chain app off, but the private key would still be on here. Just like I took off my Stellar and my Litecoin app, the Stellar and Litecoin private keys are still on here. So don't think when you take the app off you're going to lose your private keys. Private keys don't take up that much space, and you can store quite a few of them here. And they can always be recreated when you do a restore too. So we made it, but we're not going to buy or sell anything, right? So let's see. It looks like they got ADA, BCH, Dash. These are all, as you can see, these are pairs, right? So when we look here, we got the Dash.B BNB pair, and then you can go down here and maybe buy or sell some stuff, right? And I'm assuming that at some point I would need to buy some or transfer some Binance coin into this particular wallet by, let's say we go here, right? We'll copy this address, and then we would just run over to Binance, or we may have already had some somewhere, and just buy some Binance coin, right? That's possible. I'm not going to do it because this is testnet, right? I'm not going to waste my hard-earned Binance coin on the testnet. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm going to enter my two-factor authentication just so you'll get a feel for this. Now, this would be the process, right? The idea is that you will have, and where the heck am I?
Can you charge this?
Yes, sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Daddy is the charging station. Somehow I seem to have lost the... Where in the heck was I? Unless I just left the DEX by doing that. I think I did. Alright, so I'll just open the link there. Let's go back. I'll use the back button to get back there. I think I just left. No, I didn't. Where the heck did that... There it is. Sorry. Getting old. Alright, so we're on the DEX. And right, we've got the DEX set up, right, with our ledger. And then we would just copy this address in there. And let's go over to funds. And let's look at BNB. Right? And let's just say we want to deposit some BNB. Let's take a look at the address. Oh, the BNB looks like a Ethereum address. It looks like a ERC20 token. So I'm not sure what this address is, right? It doesn't look at all like an Ethereum address. Starts with a small t. It's kind of weird. Oh, let's see. So obviously I don't have anything right now, right? And then here's this thing. We still don't know exactly what that is. Binance chain, what we could put in there, right? Maybe we could just put anything in there. I don't know. But I'm sure as heck not going to transfer any Bitcoin to this address until I know for sure how this is all going to work. But we did manage to get our wallet set up, which was kind of cool. Let's go to balances. Did I go to balances? Let's go back to the exchange. I'm assuming that that's what I need to put in here is BNB, because everything is paired to BNB, right? There's no other pairs. So you're going to have to own some BNB. Oh, okay, here's BTC, but it's also paired to BNB. And there's Ethereum, this is paired to BNB. And the US dollar. So, I don't know. Let's see. Let's go back to BNB. Now I'm assuming that okay, so there's a small amount of it. Let's hit some. This is just such a tiny amount, I'm not worried about it. But I just want to see if it tells me if that's an address. It might tell me something like, that's not even an address. Well, first it's telling me there's not enough in there. So I don't know if that is a BNB address or not. We'll see. Alright, guys. So that was fun. But I'd like to know more about how that works. Okay, so while I was babbling, Rob was checking out his firmware, which was 1.2.7. And yes, it's the firmware. Okay. Sorry, not enough space left. That's what I get. Oh, okay. Well, Rob, you can go in and just uninstall every single app that you have on there first, and then run the firmware update. It won't destroy any of your private keys when you do that. You can take off all the apps all the way down to Bitcoin and then start running your firmware updates. Just remember, though, you might not have room for all of those same apps once you're done. So that happens sometimes. Yeah, you have to remove all the apps. That was such a simple answer, and I should have told you that from the very beginning. I remembered now when I did that firmware update, I had to uninstall every single app before it would allow me. It kept telling me there wasn't room. So, or you can wait for the Ledger Nano X, right? Yeah, I would always update wallets when you can. Best practice. Always keep everything updated. Your OS, your software, your firmware. Almost always is your best play. You might get bugs, but most of the updates are security updates, feature improvement, that kind of stuff. So you always want to keep everything up to date. It's just best practice. But Rex, this is 2019. Yes. Sailor Delife is asking me if I updated my Tron wallet yet. I believe I've got my iPhone set to auto update. So we'll do some Tron in a minute. Let's see where we are. Maybe you should sing your life. Yeah, Alex is over there singing. Okay, so JG is showing us a link to the Theta network. Been hacking my not understand English to communicate with you. That's okay, guys. I understand that people from all over the world watch, so there will be a little bit of a language barrier sometimes. That's why I always try to do the walkthrough so you can see what I'm doing on my screen. Even though you may not understand all the stuff I'm saying, sometimes just seeing it happen is enough. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we'll talk about Tron a little bit if you guys want to. And then also, I just have to point out, I think I put it over here. Someone recognized me at the grocery store. I was at the grocery store down the street, and I had my Tron shirt on. I have a Tron t-shirt, and somebody walked by me and saw my Tron t-shirt and goes, "Hey, dude, cool shirt." And I was like, "Yeah, all right." And then we went up to the checkout, and then the guy doubled back, and he goes, "Hey, are you CryptoDad?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And so we shook hands and everything. I've never had anyone recognize me as CryptoDad. But I have to admit, there were some people, they'll email me, they'll call me. I had one guy, he called me, and we ended up meeting a little bit, to do a little bit of troubleshooting and some tech support for him. But to just see somebody on the street and have them recognize me was pretty cool. Young guy, of course. He goes, "Yeah, I watched your video the first time I bought Tron or crypto or whatever." So that was kind of cool. All right, so we're down to this. Rex, since we need to keep everything updated, can you possibly make a video on how to update the different things, for example, the firmware, the Ledger Live, etc.? Well, I'll tell you the best way to do that would be to go to my YouTube channel and search for go to videos and search for Ledger. Ledger update would probably be good. Okay, and you can see here how to update the firmware on the Ledger Nano S to version 1.5.5, where I explain that you have to delete all of your apps Sorry about that, Rob. I should have told you that from the very beginning. So that's a decent video. And then I've got some earlier ones where I show you how to upgrade from some earlier versions of the firmware up to 1.4.2, which I think you need to be at 1.4.2 before you can go up to 1.5.5. And then this one about using Ledger Live is pretty good. If you're looking to, I will just paste that in here. That search result. So if, you know, there's how to update Ledger Live, how to use multiple Ledger Nano S's. So I have quite a few on, here's one on restoring the ledger using Ledger Live. So I've been doing this channel for a little over 2 years now, and I've got about, Christabel, that's too loud, please. Is that me or is that you or him?
Christabel.
That's too loud, sweetheart. Please. 20 minutes. Okay.
It's too loud.
It's too loud. She's always on Discord talking to strangers. Usually they're kids in her class. There's a kid in her class. I look at that kid and I say hello and he just stares at me. Hardly hear him talking ever, except when my daughter is on her computer and the guy like will not stop talking. It's so funny to hear how much he talks when he's on his computer. Anyway, we're all a little different in cyberspace, right? Oh, hey, JG just linked a Dumb Ways to Die video. Alex? 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 Come here. JG Dumb Ways to Die. This Alex.
Set fire to your head.
Yeah, we'll have to check that one out later, huh? Oh, yeah. Thanks, JG. That was cool. We can watch that one later, okay? Okay, we'll watch it later when we're done. He loves Dumb Ways to Die. He sings every version of that song, sometimes in Spanish, sometimes in Chinese. I don't know what it is about that song, but it's everywhere. And he listens to Smart Ways to Die. Smart Ways to Live. Yeah. Smart Ways to Live, Dumb Ways to Die. He gets them all. Yeah, if you're looking for something cool, I'm a noob. If you're looking for something to help you with your ledger, I have over 200 videos. Let's see where we go. 232 videos. Keep in mind, some of them are a little outdated because, you know, it's been a couple years, but most of them hold up pretty well. So check them out. Trezor, Ledger, Tron, how to buy different cryptocurrencies, how to store things in a Ledger Nano, all that good stuff. Check out all my videos. Now, we were going to play around with Tron a little bit. Let me see if I can get my phone to come up. Oh, well, we won't get another airdrop until next month on the 11th. So the idea was that we moved our Tron onto Binance. Get this going here. We moved our Tron onto Binance so that we could get the airdrop, right? And we did. We got some Tron. In fact, I can show you, we can move some of that BTT into this wallet. I think maybe I did. All right. So I moved the Tron that I had on Binance into this wallet. And you'll notice down here that I got, whoops, sorry. I got some. You can see there's 207 BitTorrent, right? In this Tron-based wallet. It's a web-based wallet. Or, I'm sorry, a phone-based wallet. Now we want to why don't we move a little bit? Let's see if there's any BTT left on in my Binance account. I think I moved it out. Yes, I did. I moved it somewhere else. Where did I move it, you say? I believe that I put it in the Tron wallet. All right, so we can go to Tron, and we can go to the Tron scan. Now we need to log into the wallet, so how are we going to do that? Right? We're going to have to go back, and you remember that I took off all my apps so that I could get the Binance on there. Binance chain. So we're going to go back to Manager, and I'm going to take the Binance chain off and put the Tron back on. And you'll notice that I didn't lose any of my Tron when I removed the app. It's perfectly safe to remove your apps off the device, right? So first we need to get out of Binance chain. We can. Let's quit. All right, and then it will let me get back into Manager. Yeah, and that's going to be kind of a pain. Let's just stop mirroring for a minute. Okay. All right. It always pops up when the phone falls asleep. All right, so let's get the Binance off. I don't know where it's down here somewhere. All right, let's delete it by hitting the trash can, and it should just disappear. Boom, there, it's gone. Now let's put Tron back on. Tron is a lot higher because it's got a higher market cap. Let's reinstall the Tron, right? I should see processing here in a minute. Or not. There it goes. All right, so Tron is back on there now. So let's go into Tron. Right, and then we can go back to the Tron website, and we want to go to let's see, from the home page. All right, from the home page you go to Explore, Tron Scan. You're here, and then you choose Sign In. Right, I'm going to sign in. This is similar to the DEX we were just using for Binance. It's the Tron-based DEX, right? So we'll use Ledger. It told me to go into the Tron app, which I was already in there, and then I'll hit sign in. All right. And so, let's see, how much Tron is in here? 469 Tron, right? You remember all my Tron is on the phone right now. But let's go down and let's take a look at the BitTorrent. Look at all that BitTorrent that I have. I transferred that BitTorrent from my Binance account onto the Tron-based wallet that the private key lives on the ledger, right? So there are many ways to access Tron wallets, or many types of Tron wallets that you can use here. You remember, like we did with the Binance, we could just create a wallet with a private key that they would generate for us, and then we would just store it on our computer or on a piece of paper, and then type it in or write it in every time we sign in. And then we could maintain the wallet that way. And then Tron also has that key store thing, I believe. And then also they have this other one, which is the Tron Link web-based app, right? It's a Google app. So you can also use that to log into your Tron wallet, right? Many different ways to access different wallets, different private keys. All right, so any questions on Tron specifically? Just got my first deposit of Brave's CryptoDad. It tells me I have to verify my Uphold wallet for Brave to be complete. Any info? Okay, yeah. They want you to create an Uphold wallet, and you'll need to verify it. But in order to use the Uphold wallet, you will have to download the Authy app. It's been a while since I've done it, but let's see here. Let's go here. Uphold. Here we go. How to set up Uphold wallet for purchasing Bitcoin.
If you're
This is a pretty good walkthrough on how you download and set up Uphold, and then you have to go get the Authy, right? Two-factor authentication using Authy. So if you think maybe you're getting hung up at one step, Sailor, go ahead and check out that video, and I do like a step-by-step on how you download Authy. You'll need to download Authy and get it up and running, and then you'll have to use it to verify Uphold. And then once you've done that, then you'll be able to sign into your Uphold wallet and link it to your Brave account. So I don't know which part is holding you up, but check out that video. It's pretty. It's been a while since I did the video, but I remember that that was part of it. Was I needed to get Authy up and running and verified. I don't know if it needs a bank account to verify. It does if you're trying to transfer money in for the first time. Like if you're trying to move like real money into the Uphold wallet, that can be challenging too, because not every debit card, they don't support every debit card. So some debit cards, when you try to move money into Uphold, it gets rejected. It's kind of weird. That's why I don't use Uphold that much, but I have got it set up to where it will connect to my it is connected to my Brave, so they'll deposit Brave in there. So if we do Uphold, all right, go to Uphold. All right, so the first thing it wants me to do is sign in, and I'll use my password manager to get myself signed in there. It wants me to give the Authy code. So let's I'll show you what I'm doing here. Let's move this over a bit. So I'm going to have to go to Authy, which is here, and get my code. Yeah. I just have to type it in from my phone, which is kind of a pain. All right. And then once I've done that, I'm in. You can use an authenticator app to make your account even more secure. I'm not going to do that right now. All right. I'm not going to do that right now. All right. So I have 0 in here, but you can see that I moved my BAT to an Ethereum address, right? I don't really use Uphold to hold Bitcoin because it's not really a true wallet. It's kind of it's a hot wallet, and kind of web-based hot wallet. So I don't consider it, I don't really hold my own private keys. Sort of do, but I would prefer to hold it in a regular type wallet, like an Ethereum wallet. So anyway, you'll have to set up Authy, and I think that's all you really need to get Uphold up and running. And then when you go to your where is it? When you go to your Brave Payments, you'll just connect that to your Uphold wallet. I have to go through all this every single time. There we go. All right. And you also have to put in your two-factor authentication for your Brave, which you don't have to set that up. I do. My Brave two-factor authentication is in Google Authenticator. All right. Now you can see here that it's connected to the Uphold wallet, right? So once you've got the Uphold wallet running, then you have to connect these two together, and then you'll get your deposits every month. So if you're a content creator, you have a website, a Twitch page, or a YouTube channel, then you can promote Brave through links, and they will also reward you when people look at your content using their Brave browsers. So pretty cool. If your Tron is frozen for voting, will you still receive your BTT? Huh. Now there's an interesting question. I don't know the answer to that. What he's referring to is, if you'll notice here, that I could freeze. Can I do it here? Here. There is a way to freeze your Tron so that you'll be eligible for voting. But I'm not sure where it is in this wallet. Let's double check the Tron wallet here. I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna do it one more time here. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward in the phone. So if we go to oh, it's there already. Just got to bring it to the front. So in the phone, you have a freeze here, and it'll ask me how much do you want to freeze. You know, you can freeze 25% of it, 75% of it, or none, right? And that allows you to participate in voting and that sort of thing. So the question is that am I still going to get my airdrops if I do that? So I really don't know, but I'd be willing to check it for you by freezing some of it. How about I'll freeze 1,000 of it, and then we'll check to see if we get 1 point, if we get the right amount because of the frozen amount. So the idea is I should have 0.1 of my total. So if I don't, because some of it is frozen, then I'll know. Or we could just Google it and see if we can figure it out. But we'll see. So as you can see here, some of it's frozen now, and some of it's available. So, but whether that would affect our Bitmain, BitTorrent drops, we'll have to see about that. Oh, okay. So Ricky N305 says he had his frozen, but he got his BTT. Cool. That's cool. All right. And then, as you know from the phone-based app, the DEX is pretty easy to use. You can go to this $ sign down at the bottom and then just buy stuff with your Tron. Pretty easy to do. And they get more and more of these. Now, I wouldn't recommend buying any of these unless you did some research and you knew what you were doing. And you had a pretty good idea that it was worth something. Because there's a lot of Tron-based tokens out there. It doesn't really cost anything to start a token on the Tron network. And they raise all their money just like they did on the ICOs, right? The initial coin offerings on the Ethereum network. Same principle, right? You buy a bunch of Tron, you wait for a new coin to come out, and then you use your Tron to buy it. And I need to be looking at this phone instead of talking to you guys, all right? So they've got a DEX here. Oh, that's my transactions, pardon me. Where is it? I thought there was a DEX here. Yeah, see? So you can go buy Tron-based tokens in this interface as well. This one is like, these are the I don't know what they call them, Tron ICOs, right? Where there's new coins out and you have the option to buy in while they're still in ICO mode or Tron-CO mode or whatever you want to call it. But then here you can buy established coins that already, you know, have already been past their initial startup phase. Right? TRX is pretty cool because, I'm sorry, TWM, Tron Watch Market, is pretty cool. I already own some of that. I don't know if it shows up in here. Yeah, you can see there's 100 in here. I believe there's more over. I'm gonna unfreeze this. I believe there's some Tron Watch Market over here. Yeah, see Tron Watch Market. I've got quite a bit of it because I believed in it. I did my research. Tron Watch. Tron Watch Market, their DEX is still in beta, so hopefully it will be a thing someday. You can go to their DEX too. It's not really working right. Right, so it's sort of there, but it's still, you can't really buy anything on it. Right, it's not up and running. Let's see if we could just go to Tron Watch homepage. Is that possible? Let's just Google it. Eek. Let's try that. There we go. What we want is Tron Watch. There we go. So Tron Watch was one of the very first Tron-based wallets, and so they have quite a few wallets out there. There's a desktop wallet. There's the Tron Link browser extension that I was showing you, and they have one for the phone, but it's well, they say they have the iOS. I didn't think they had it yet. I'll check it out on my phone. And then they have this DEX, which isn't fully enabled yet. That's the Tron Watch DEX, or the Tron Watch Market. Interesting stuff going on with Tron. A lot of new ideas and a lot of excitement and development in the Tron-based community. You know, and Tron is currently the #9 cryptocurrency by market cap. So a lot of exciting stuff happening. It says that I have to fully verify my identity in order to receive my contributions. What is needed? Okay, so perhaps, I don't know if that's Brave asking you or Uphold asking you, but I may have done it in that video, but I might have had to go through that whole hold up your ID to the webcam thing, where you actually verify your real identity to get that wallet up and running. So they may be asking you to do that. And I think there's a step-by-step thing. It'll tell you what to do. Now, I don't know what country you're in, so maybe you're having trouble because it's not compatible with your country. But I would think that you should be able to do this anywhere. It definitely works in the U.S., but I think maybe that's what they want you to do. They want you to verify who you are, And then that involves doing that, what do they call it? KYC, know your customer stuff, where you actually show them your ID of either, oh yeah, I think I remember going through it. It was horrible. I ended up, I couldn't hold it up to the webcam, it wouldn't work, so I ended up scanning my ID in my scanner and then saving it as a JPEG or PDF. I don't remember how I saved it, but then from there I was able to upload it, and finally they were able to verify it. And I think it didn't happen right away. I think I had to wait a day or so before they came back and said, oh, you're verified. I can't remember. Maybe I did it happened right away. But I would just check that video out because I walked through the entire process. But I think that's what they're asking you to do. They want to know it's you. Always like that, you know. It's hard to do anything without revealing your identity. But when they're giving you money, to a certain extent, basic attention token is money, because you can trade it for on a cryptocurrency exchange. You can sell it for real money. So it is a currency. It's worth something. So when someone is giving you money, they have to comply with certain regulations. So they have to know that you're a real person. You know, that's pretty much what. So I guess you can't, that Brave won't give you, and that's why Brave uses Uphold, because Uphold goes through that process. Yeah. I think that's what you need to do. Anyway, it's 7:30, guys. Sorry I, didn't answer every single question. Things are getting exciting, guys. I'm going to start doing some more videos pretty soon. I'll probably do a standalone video on the Binance DEX. And then the Ledger Nano X will be out soon. So I'll be doing some videos on the Ledger Nano X. Always keep you abreast of what's going on in the crypto scene here on the live stream every Friday night. And hope to see you guys again next week. Don't forget, every Wednesday, every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the live Q&A from LA. I hope to see you guys again next week. Appreciate you joining me tonight. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Thanks again, and look forward to seeing you again. Good night. Thanks for the tip.